bringing consciousness into the physical, into this present moment. Bringing the higher state of consciousness, relatively speaking, into the now, because the absolute consciousness is already here now, but at the same time we are experiencing an upliftment in the global energies, in your personal evolution, in the global evolution. Even the whole universe is evolving, expanding, uplifting. So on one level, we need to realize that consciousness, God, self, is already in the now as this boundless now. God is not somewhere else. It is nowhere else than here. It is only your perception and your focus which is not here or cannot boundlessly perceive the totality of now. It is not something imaginable either. You don't need to use imagination to see the now. It is actually to let go of any kind of mental activity, your imagination, as well as your focused attention, as well as any kind of altered perception, into simply realizing the boundlessness in this moment of now. This boundlessness is usually quite difficult to be sustained because of the mental momentum, because you have been training your mind so much and you have been making your mind your home, making your mind comfortable. So thus, you got used to living in the mind. So this is why resting freely, boundlessly now is difficult, because you made your home your mind. You made your limitations, perceptions, your home. So being boundless and being free is seemingly difficult. Although it has no effort to be boundless, free, and at ease, it takes a lot of effort to be inside limitations and to maintain them. It takes a lot of energy to maintain your mind. So one has to unlearn so much, to unlearn everything that has been learned, to unlearn all the limited ways of seeing reality, all the limited thinking patterns, all the limiting beliefs, and all the limiting perceptions of yourself as this limited person. as well as any ideas of why you're limited. These also have to go in order for you to rest freely, openly, boundlessly. So, bringing this boundlessness into the now, into your experience, is not an easy task. And on the other hand, your energy body also needs to be able to sustain the higher vibration. At the same time, we're living in an unprecedented time on this earth, because the whole planet Earth is uplifting, is ascending. It is rising in vibration and frequency. Resting in freedom is not easy. You can rest in stress. You can rest from your tensions and stresses, which is in a way resting in the tensions, in the stresses. But resting in freedom is something different, is something which is not really an activity. Also, we need to understand that at this point in time in history, now currently we are connecting as humanity, as Earth, we are connecting to, we could say, heavenly frequency, dimension, realm, which is actually a fifth dimension and beyond. So at this point in time, collectively, we are beginning to connect with the heavenly energies, with the heavenly realms. Now there are millions of people who have experienced the heavenly realms, the heavenly reality. The heavenly reality is the real reality. The 3D bonded suffering reality is not the real reality. It is distorted reality. It is a limited reality. So heaven actually is something which is natural, real, and based on love, based on harmony, based on universal laws. So when I speak of heavenly reality, it is not something in the clouds. It is not something when you pass away, only when you die. If you were good, if you did good, you will go there. No, that's the story for the children. The heavenly reality is the real reality. It is how actually the universe is harmonious, loving, natural, as well as functioning within all the laws of the universe. Humanity is functioning with human-made laws, with human-made systems, and that's why we see a big mess all around. That's why all the nature is suffering, and even humanity is suffering, still functioning with the same law system, social system, economic, political system. It is clearly not working. That is evident in this moment. Anybody who can open the eyes to see. It is, we could say, barely functioning. So that barely everybody can survive and barely be physically um, provided with the basic needs. But the higher needs of humanity are not touched yet. The higher needs of love, of care, of beauty, of peace, perfection, harmony, the higher needs of humanity are not addressed yet. Because now humanity is still functioning in barely survival and capitalistic power structures. So thus, we need to bring a higher frequency to this strange place, we could say, to this earth, where things which are natural are not, and things which are very abnormal and not natural are deemed to be normal in the eyes of a common human being. So thus we have a task to bring the higher frequency, vibration, consciousness on this earth so that people start recognizing that there is another way, that there is a more natural way, a more effortless way, a more peaceful, harmonious, intelligent, and loving way of coexistence. The home of now is always loving. When something difficult is happening, it's unconditionally loving because of past disharmonies, distortions, because of past misconceptions, because of past unnaturalness. But the home of now is always loving, even unconditionally. If something difficult is happening, it is all allowingly loving. You are loved and you want to be loved because being loved is home. Sometimes you kick and scream like a little child, but the home of now is always holding you lovingly, like the mother is holding the child. But sometimes your mind is kicking and screaming with all the wants and this wants. But the home of now is always lovingly holding you, no matter what you do. And now we will give some time for sharing and questions and answers.
I'd like to ask about the now.
Yes, yes.
Because sometimes when I think about the now, I felt a really soft expansion and it was really nice. And then sometimes when the word now comes, I try to think, is that the thought that I just had, or is that, the feeling of sitting on the chair? So sometimes I begin to think, like, what is the now? Like, is it just nothing at all? Like I start thinking about it, I've noticed.
Yes. Well, it is everything at all. So exactly everything totally, absolutely what is now, whatever you experience, sitting and any kind of activity, all of it. And you see, it's not a mindfulness of particular one thing. It's not bringing your attention to particular one thing. It is bringing your attention to the totality of this moment, allness.
Mm-hmm.
And to realize that you're here, your breath is here, this space is here, your room is here, The air is here, all of this is here already, totally inclusive, nothing is excluded. And even more so, where all of this is happening. All of this is happening in a conscious space. So because you are conscious, because you are alive, because you are aware of this total experience. It is because there is the brightness of your seeing that everything is appearing to be here, and including your own individual experience is also appearing to be here. But why? Because of your conscious seeing, the conscious brightness, the unconditional space. So that is the now. And if you look, where is it? It's right here, including your looking, including your searching, including your attention traveling in all kinds of places. That is also included. If you need some time to think, that's already included in the now. If you need some time to sit in silence, it's included unconditionally. Everything is allowed already, included already. So it's more to help you individually, it's more about the totality. And if you become aware more of your position or sitting or your cup or your screen or the brightness of the sun, these are just different parts of the now. The now is all of it. So we're not practicing mindfulness to bring your attention to something specific and to notice that specific thing. We're bringing attention to the totality of all. And the mind cannot wrap around the whole thing. But you can see your mind trying to understand. You can see your mind trying to kind of, how can I hold this? How can I keep this? How can I be in this? Well, you already are, including your mind trying to understand, including your mind trying to hold or grab or keep or maintain. It's all already here. That's the beauty of it. The best thing you can do is relax your mind. Okay, that's a good question. Yes, that's a good point. Very well, very well. Okay, any more questions?
Hello?
Yes, hello, hello.
Is it a habit that when you don't do nothing, that it's still contracted and divided, you know, the experience? Is it just a matter of body relaxation, or am I already the boundless now and just shift of perception, you know?
It is the shift of your inner, the shift of seeing. It is the shift of seeing to see even your mind trying to understand,
Yes.
to see even your body trying to relax, to see that you always already see no matter what is happening. If your body is trying to relax, you see that already. If your mind is trying to understand, you see that already. If your attention and focus is wandering and pondering and traveling somewhere, you see that already.
So the boundless now is seeing all the time.
Seeing all the times, but seeing from the position of seeing, not from the position of the mind,
Yeah.
not from the position of focus, not from the position of perception. It is seeing from the position of seeing. And that seeing is omnidirectional, it's all encompassing, and it is boundless, an absolutely open seeing. So seeing from that position of seeing.
No
That,
matter how much the mind is open and the body, and no matter.
no matter, no matter.
So I don't have to wait till the body opens up, no?
Waiting for the body to open up, it's simply a thing happening in the now. And you
Yes.
see that too. So now we're speaking a little bit sharper, yes? It's a bit more direct.
Yeah.
So it's seeing from the position of seeing and realizing that that is the source of all. And that is where all is happening.
Okay.
And in your case, I can see the effort and see the effort.
It's
Yes, see the effort.
yeah. Okay.
And see the effort and also the desire. This is what is happening now inside you. Just see the effort. See the wanting and the effort. They go together. Basically see the effort. And then you will say, oh, I already see my effort.
Yes, I see my effort, yes.
Yes, 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 yes.
But yeah.
And then you see the but arising.
Yes. Also now. Yeah.
Also now.
So we cannot run away from the now anyway. So
Try it. You will be the very first one.
yeah.
If you manage to run away from the now, you will be the first in the whole universe.
Yeah, but that's a good point, because you don't have to hurry, and you can't do anything, You just can realize that it is this way,
It's a shift of seeing, in the position of seeing. So yes, you can't, in a way, in a higher way of seeing, you can't do anything in a higher way of seeing, because you can see the effort of doing or wanting to do. Or if you see something is missing, incomplete, or wrong, you already see that from the position of seeing.
Mm-hmm.
When you return back into position of seeing, then you will see that, oh, it was just the effort or the mind saying something was wrong. And it seemed to be real because you were seeing from the position of the mind. So if you are in the position of the mind, of course, there are many problems.
Mm. But in the now, there is no problem.
As long as you stay in that position of seeing. Because then there will be a tendency to jump back into the mind and understand and say, oh, I got it. And then let me think about it. And then you will be back in the mind.
So I cannot be in the mind and watching it at the same time? Be aware of the seeing,
Well, okay, so who is aware of seeing? Is the awareness aware of seeing, or the seeing is aware of awareness trying to see, if you follow me?
Yeah. Good question. Yeah.
So you can check that you are seeing your awareness trying to see something, correct?
Yes, but I can also perceive purely. I think. I hope. You know.
Well, okay, if you remove I think and if you remove I hope,
Yeah. Yes, it's perception. You know, simple, right?
yes, but perception should not be limited because perception is like
Yeah, by the focus. Yeah,
what I call a lighthouse.
yeah.
You know, perception is a lighthouse
Mm-hmm.
or a torch or a slice of a cake. So even a particular perception, you're still seeing that there is a certain limitation of particular perception.
Yes.
So
That's the
yes,
point.
you can't escape the seeing, but you can get very easily the mind can get very easily confused or worried or doubtful or
Mm.
and these are all the problems of the mind or limited, you know, or only this way or only that way. These are all the problems of the mind from the position of the mind.
Okay, but how to drop from the mind into the body? You know how to do it.
No, from the mind into the body, you don't need to do that.
No.
Just see your effort.
And then I let go automatically. So,
There is no then. Once you stay as the pure seeing, that anything that you try to do, even the effort arising, there is no then. You see, just, oh, that's the effort. And the mind says, what's next? Oh, I see that too. The mind wants something next.
right. Yeah. Okay. It's like detachment? No, just seeing. Seeing.
Yes, I can see the effort. And
Okay.
so for you now, it would be practice observing, seeing the effort, and relax. You're trying to push it a
And
bit too hard.
that is not an effort?
The only effort you need is to relax,
Okay.
to expand a bit, and then to check that you see your efforts,
Okay.
but in a relaxed way, expanded way. If you
But it
start,
doesn't happen. It doesn't. It's not expanding so much. Maybe a little bit, you know. It's like it's
yes,
contracted, you know, like this.
yes. So let's summarize and try to listen and remember.
Yes. Okay.
So within you there is an effort, and there is a bit of wanting, quite strong,
Mm.
and searching also quite strong. And I want you to simply relax a bit, soften a bit, and then notice that you are seeing your effort, you are seeing your searching, you are seeing your desire. So do this practice
Okay.
for a week or two,
Okay.
and then we can proceed further.
Okay.
Okay, there.
Does there come a time when there is no, when experience exists with no connection at all to the body or body sensations?
Where experience exists without any body sensations?
Yes. If I feel expanded way out beyond the range of my body, it's still in relation to my body. Or if I'm having experiences of just presence or just in the now, there's also a sensation of bliss, or can be energy in the heart or head, or the entire body sometimes feels alive. And I wondered if there comes a time when experience can exist without any associated body sensation.
Yes, that is a very good question. The body will not disappear as such. The identification with the body, that drops, and the body can be freely here. And anything that is experienced here is experienced freely, boundlessly, openly. So that is the most precise way of answering your question.
There can come times in the day, riding my bicycle, stepping out under the porch, sitting in Ramana Ashram, where
Yeah,
there is, I just fall into nothingness. There is a half smile on my face. My heart does feel something. The mind seems quite quiet. Uh, and there's no loss when that changes into something else, but it does have a body component, and so I've just been wondering how that works. But thank you so much for everything.
yes. Well, in the place of the self, the body component doesn't bother the self.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'll mute myself. I'll be laughing longer.
Yes, very well, very well. Good. So the body can do whatever it does, whatever it needs to do, whatever it's meant to do here. But the self is not bothered by it. It all happens anyways, it all happens, everything happens. And eating happens, and sleeping happens, and all riding the bike and even meditating happens, but the self is not bothered. At the same time, it's lovingly allowing everything to happen. It's not detached as such. It's lovingly allowing all to happen, but it's untouched, unbothered.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, any more questions? Very well, very well.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm still smiling from Gregory's laugh. My question is, how does one sustain the higher vibration? How do you sustain the higher vibration?
Yes. Your nervous system is very important. Your physical body nervous system is very important because your nervous system is actually processing the signals, electrical signals passing through your neuron connections, neuron pathways in your brain, your spine, your whole tree of nervous system. And you see many of these neuron connections and pathways have been closed because of the limited mind. And this is why there is a saying that human beings utilize only 10% of their brain as such. However, speaking in full consciousness, the average human person sustains only 4% of the full consciousness of the now. Because everything is so closed, so limited, or we could say blocked. So the way to sustain a higher consciousness is not only to hear the truth, is not only to meditate, is not only to practice the practices according to the levels of consciousness, but also to increase your nervous system, what I call capacity, your nervous system capacity, so that it can sustain a higher voltage of the higher frequency of consciousness.
Yes, that's great.
Yes.
Very nice. I understand.
Yes, yes, because your body is basically like, we could say like a phone, but then there is the consciousness is, we could say, relatively speaking, like a Wi-Fi, internet. So if the phone is very, very old and it has only the buttons, you know, like the old Nokia, then there's no screen, there's no touch screen, you can't watch videos and all these things. So when you upgrade your nervous system, then suddenly you can process much more, you can perceive much more, you can feel much more, you're much more connected. So this is how your capacity increases. And we do the personal charts where we actually measure the openness of the full consciousness in percentage. And we also measure the nervous system capacity. There are more metrics as well, which you can find on the website, the personal charts. And we do them with the private meetings where we make your chart, we discuss about it, and we can see what will help you to expand, open more, but also to sustain that higher frequency as well.
Thank you.